Hi, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be looking at the Casio Duro monochromatic black and silver, but we're going to look at the Long Island Watches Oyster bracelet. So let's get into it. Alright, here's the watch. We're not going to get into too much detail about the actual watch itself. If you watched my last video on the two-tone version, I already covered it. And again, I will mention that if you are interested in this watch and you have a little wrist like me, and you will see how tiny, when I close this up, you'll see how tiny my wrist is. I still recommend picking one of these up if it's through Amazon or at Walmart, wherever you're located. Just try it on. You will fall in love with it as long as it does fit your wrist. But the watch itself, we're going to focus on the bracelet. I will say that this watch does remind me a lot like my Phoibos I had many years ago. I will insert photos to show you, but the difference between this in this configuration versus the Phoibos, how it came with the bracelet, this looks much better, and I feel like this would sit between a $200 or $300 watch, and especially if Casio did a more premium version where they added better lume and a ceramic bezel. I feel like the crystal, it's hit and miss with people. I'd rather have better lume and a ceramic bezel. A crystal is easier to replace than getting a bezel and lume. But with that, let's actually get into the bracelet. Alright, so let's get into the actual bracelet portion. So as you can see, it's very nice looking. The sheen of the bracelet matches the case really well. It does definitely look really nice. So what you have right here is, let's get up close, you have solid end links, solid links, and then you do have screws, and you have a milled clasp, and then my favorite part right here is brushed, and then polished. So there's very little polishing, and I think it does so much better for a watch when there's less polishing, just my opinion. I mean, if you have a Jubilee, that's obviously a different style, but for this, I really like that it's seamless. It just goes around. Even with the watch, as you can see, there's very little polishing. It's just on the sides, and that's about it. The bezel, a little bit, but not as high polished. So as you can see, I have a little wrist, and I took out 3 links, and I do believe I have, let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2. So we have 4 links, and I took out 3. And you can see right here the micro adjust. Let me get a view on that. You have 3 of them. I do wish there was a 4th one, because I could definitely have the clasp more centered. You'll see on my wrist it's not as centered, but if I could take 1 more link out and have the extra micro adjust, it would be a better fitment. I'm going to put it on wrist to let you guys see it. It does look really nice. So let's get into it. So here's the watch on my wrist, and I apologize, I do not know my wrist size, but you can clearly see I have a tiny wrist, and the monochromatic black and silver looks awesome on the Oyster, which it should. I'm excited to see what the straps I have for this one, what it'll look like, mainly for the summer, because this one will be my more everyday wear, and with a bracelet, I do miss a bracelet. That's why I bought this style bracelet with this watch. And if you watched my other video with the two-tone, this was the configuration I had for this one, a rubber and then a double deployant. So this one will stay in this configuration, where this one is my everyday and strap monster. Now, does Long Island Watches Casio Duro Oyster style bracelet have any cons? Mine has 2. I found that the milled clasp right here on this end is a little sharp on the inside and a little bit on the outside. So when putting it on the wrist in this area, and it could possibly be because I have a small wrist, it does catch and scrape against my wrist there. So I would have to get some sandpaper and sand that down. The other thing is this piece right here. When locking it, depending on how the watch is laying on my wrist, I do hear this rattling, and it does drive me insane. It's a small nitpick, but I'm not used to that from a few watches I've had that came with this style bracelet and of quality. So that right there, I don't know if it's because of the spring bar that it is being locked into, or if it's just because of the wiggle. There's just too much wiggle in the end here. But other than that, the bracelet itself, easy installation, looks nice, and for the price, $60, I would say get it, because the actual watch head itself is worth it. When you put these two together, it is a match. So with that, leave your comments down below. Let's have a discussion, and I'll see you in the next one. Alright, as you can see, I have the two straps I bought specifically for this Casio, and I wanted to show you that this is from StrapHabit, and no, this is not paid promotion. I bought these with my own money. Just gonna leave the business card down here so you guys can see exactly what website that I got them from. Definitely highly recommend them after buying their clasp and rubber. So now I'm a big fan, and I bought the two other colors I wanted to get right now, especially the orange, and then this one I was curious about, and I fell in love with the color after seeing that it did match the shade that I wanted. So let's get into it. Alright, before I get into the straps and putting them on the watch, I did want to show you a few items I have to compare the colors with. So the orange one compared to my KPH 40s, as you can see, the orange is definitely different. So this one you can see is more tangerine, washed out, and then this one's more vibrant and full of color. Definitely love it. And one more orange thing that was closer, I thought, is from Casio, as you can see. And I could easily see if I got this in 18mm, this would look pretty good. And for the purple, as you guys know, my Sony Link Buds, this purple has really grown on me, and this color matches closer to the inside of the case. I know the camera, at least looking at it, this looks definitely darker, so I'm not sure if it's represented well, but this looks so much closer from the inside as opposed to the outside. Alright, with the orange strap on the Casio Duro, it looks good and it feels good. I do like how I told you too that their buckles, the finish on them, do really well against Casio's finish of the case, so it does look like it matches and belongs. The orange is the right shade, like I said before, it's perfect. So this is a thumbs up. I like the way it looks and the way it feels. So now let's get into the purple one, and then we'll wrap this video up. Alright, I just threw it on my wrist, and this is the short version, not the long one. And in person, I do like the way this looks. I don't know if I'm going to keep it on the short one because of where the length right here is, like if I'm laying my wrist down, but I do like the way that it looks, and it is very light. I may end up keeping this one. It feels good. I'm going to try it on the long one. Right here, this one, so it has a little bit more length at the end, but I like the way it looks. Definitely plays well, perfect for summer. I'm set with this watch. This honestly feels closer to, in my opinion, maybe because the way that the strap is made and it's holding it and against my wrist, almost like the resin Casios. It definitely keeps the weight balanced. I do like it. And again, the shade, I really like the shade of purple that you guys know right here, StrapHabit. Do check them out. They do, like I said before, they have 18 millimeter. So that's why I said, like, if I was crazy enough, I could buy an 18 millimeter for the few Casios that you can put different straps on. So I definitely highly recommend them. You give them a try. I know there's other companies out there that people always recommend. I've never heard too many people talk about StrapHabit, and when I came across them, I seen because of this strap, it might be easier to pick up on orange, the ridge right in the middle. This was the style I wanted, and when I saw that they offer this piece right here, the clasp, I was like, all right, I'm gonna give them a try. And now I fell in love, because now this watch I feel like is perfect to me. And then now with this one, with 2 straps, and then the clasp, the bracelet, I'm set. So with that, leave your comments down below. Let's have a discussion, and I'll see you in the next one.